When people hear Morgan Freeman's voice or see his calm presence on screen, it is easy to assume his life has always been touched by ease, recognition, and success. He carries a quiet authority that feels almost timeless, as if he was always meant to be a legend. But the truth is far more layered and human. Behind the awards, the iconic roles, and the admiration of millions lies a journey built on perseverance, patience, and decades of struggle that unfolded far away from Hollywood's spotlight. His story is not one of scandal or exaggeration, but of endurance. It is about a man who refused to abandon his dream even when the world seemed unwilling to make room for him, and who proved that greatness is often shaped not by early success, but by resilience over time. Growing up in a world of limits. Morgan Freeman was born in 1937 in Mississippi, a place and era defined by segregation, poverty, and limited opportunity for a young black boy. The environment around him offered few reasons to believe that a dream like acting could ever become real. Survival was often the priority for families, and ambition was rarely encouraged beyond what society allowed. His childhood was marked by instability, frequent moves, and the reality that security was never guaranteed. Yet within that quiet boy lived an imagination that refused to be silenced. Even without privilege, connections, or resources, he carried a distant dream that felt almost impossible, but deeply necessary. Those early experiences shaped him into an observer, someone who noticed human emotion in subtle ways. Long before he became a celebrated actor, he was learning how people carried pain, hope, fear, and strength, lessons that would later become the foundation of his extraordinary craft. Discovering the stage as a refuge. Despite the hardships of his upbringing, Morgan found something powerful in school: a stage. It was not glamorous and it did not promise a future, but it offered him a rare freedom. Acting allowed him to step outside the limits of his circumstances and become someone else, even if only for a moment. In those early performances, he felt a sense of purpose that was difficult to explain but impossible to ignore. Yet life demanded practicality. There were no easy paths into acting, no money for training, no clear way forward. Like many young people burdened by reality, he placed the dream on hold, not because it disappeared, but because survival came first. A detour through service and self-realization. As a young man, Morgan enlisted in the Air Force, believing it might provide stability and direction. He worked hard, trained diligently, and followed the expectations placed upon him. But deep down, he began to realize he was living a life that did not fully belong to him. The dream he had tried to bury resurfaced in quiet moments, reminding him that he could not ignore what his heart truly wanted. Walking away from the security of military life was not an easy decision. It was a leap into uncertainty, a choice that startled those around him. But Morgan understood something essential. Stability without fulfillment can become its own kind of prison. He chose the risk of pursuing his calling over the comfort of surrendering to someone else's story. The long road of rejection and persistence. When Morgan returned to acting, Hollywood did not welcome him with open arms. There were no instant breakthroughs, no easy opportunities. Instead, he faced years of struggle that tested both his patience and his faith in himself. He worked in small theaters, took low-paying jobs, and lived with constant uncertainty. Casting directors overlooked him repeatedly, offering excuses that felt endless. He was told he was too old, too serious, too calm, or simply not what they imagined. Rejection became routine, and the dream often felt painfully distant. Yet he persisted, not because he craved fame, but because acting was the one place where he felt truly alive. It was not just a career choice, it was his way of expressing something deeper, a language for the soul that refused to be silenced. Hardship as a teacher, not an obstacle. Those difficult years were not wasted. Every setback became a lesson in resilience. Every small role became practice. Morgan learned to read people, to understand emotion, and to bring authenticity into every performance. His struggles shaped him into an actor of rare depth. Poverty, rejection, and societal limitations were never proof of a lack of talent. They were teachers that sharpened his awareness. He developed the presence that would one day command attention, not through loudness or force, but through quiet intensity. The world may not have recognized him yet, but he was becoming something extraordinary through endurance alone, holding onto the dream through doubt. In his 30s and 40s, Morgan Freeman still had not achieved the recognition he deserved. While others settled into conventional lives, building stable careers and predictable futures, he continued living with uncertainty. He faced questions that would have defeated many. What if it never happens? What if time has passed? What if the world never notices? But quitting never truly entered his mind. Acting was not optional for him. It was essential. Even when life felt unrelenting, the dream persisted quietly, growing stronger through the simple act of refusing to surrender. Small steps toward visibility. His first meaningful recognition came slowly through theater and early television roles that offered visibility but not comfort. These opportunities did not erase financial strain or emotional loneliness, but they reminded him that his talent was real. Personal life became complicated under the weight of constant work and modest rewards. Every step forward felt hard-won, and progress was often lonely. Yet he remained dedicated, refining his craft and waiting patiently for the moment the world would finally see what he already knew he carried within him. A breakthrough that came with time. Eventually, persistence began to pay off. His performances stood out because they carried authenticity and emotional truth. He did not fit Hollywood's shallow expectations of stardom, but that uniqueness became his strength. Recognition came gradually, not through instant fame, but through undeniable excellence. Audiences began to notice something rare, a man whose presence felt real, whose voice carried weight, and whose performances resonated with quiet power. Success that arrived later, but deeper. It was not until his 50s that Morgan Freeman's career truly flourished. Roles in films like Driving Miss Daisy, Glory, and Lean on Me finally brought him the recognition he had earned over decades. His rise was not meteoric. It was built slowly through consistent excellence and unwavering determination. Success came late, but it came with depth. He was not a manufactured star. He was an artist shaped by years of endurance, and that richness became part of what made him unforgettable. The weight behind the applause. Even as fame arrived, challenges did not vanish. Public recognition brought new pressures, expectations, and scrutiny. The world celebrated his calm wisdom, but rarely asked about the sacrifices behind it. Success came with burdens, the demand to remain composed, the strain of constant work, and the emotional cost of being seen as a symbol rather than a human being. The legend was admired, but the man beneath carried decades of struggle that could not simply disappear. A legacy built on endurance. At 88, Morgan Freeman embodies both serenity and reflection. His story is not defined by sensational tragedy, but by the quiet hardship of being overlooked, underestimated, and unseen for so long. The beauty of his life lies in how he transformed those experiences into strength and authenticity. His legacy is not only in his films or narrations, but in the example he sets for anyone pursuing a dream against the odds. He proves that recognition can come late, that perseverance matters more than speed, and that true greatness is often earned through endurance. The human behind the icon. Despite the admiration of millions, Morgan Freeman remains profoundly human. He has faced rejection, insecurity, bias, and hardship. The calm authority audiences admire was built over decades of learning, observing, and surviving. His journey reminds us that even those who seem unshakable carry burdens, and that greatness is rarely born from ease. Conclusion: a story of quiet determination. Morgan Freeman's life is a testament to patience, resilience, and the refusal to give up. It is a story that goes far beyond awards or fame. It is about a man who endured hardship, waited for opportunity, and never allowed rejection to extinguish his passion. His journey teaches that dreams deferred are not dreams denied, that success is not always immediate, and that the human spirit can persist even when the world feels impossibly harsh. Morgan Freeman did not become legendary because life was easy, but because he never stopped moving forward.